All right, hello everyone. What's up, Notjust developers? Welcome back to a new live stream. This is the day 3 of me building an application for the Notjust Hackathon, and welcome here. If you're new to Notjust Hackathon, let me quickly introduce what this is. This is our month-long hackathon for indie mobile developers. If you're a mobile developer or if you want to become a mobile developer, have some ideas for some applications that you wanted to build, this is your chance to participate and to challenge yourself to build and launch something meaningful during December. It started on December 1st and it's going to go all the way till the December 31st, and there is always time to join. All you have to do is build an application, launch it to the market, to App Store or Play Store, and submit your entry by the 31st of December, and then you have a chance to win some prizes. The first place we have MacBook Pro M4, for the second place we have a Mac Mini M4, and for the next 5 projects we have cash prizes. More information about Notjust Hack you can find at notjusthack.com. And while you're there, make sure to sign up, because that's how we're going to let you know all the information, all the important information about the hackathon and how and where to submit your entry. But for now, all you have to do is go build something, build a mobile application, and start launching it to the market. My personal plan during this period is to also challenge myself and to do something and to share with you what I'm doing, and I'm challenging myself to build and launch 4 applications in 4 weeks. By the way, you don't have to do that as well, you just need 1 application. I just want an extra challenge, and I'm going to try to build and launch 4 apps in 4 weeks, and I'm gonna daily stream the whole process. So every day, Monday to Friday, during this December, come join me on YouTube, and while you're there, make sure to subscribe to our channel not to miss any live stream that we are doing. So today is day 3, and the first application that we are building is an invoice generator. You can see the process of how I brainstorm, how I already built the main flow of generating an invoice in the previous 2 live streams. And today I'm going to go ahead and already start preparing the application for the market. We're going to try to build it, to prepare our page on App Store, prepare like some marketing materials. We're going to configure Sentry. And if we have time, we're going to already start working on some additional features like improvements. But yeah, before we dive into that, let me quickly remind you that previous week we have launched React Native Mastery, the biggest course that I've been working on that contains everything that you need to master building mobile applications with React Native and with Expo, and with all the modern tools around these 2 technologies. Basically, skills that you would need to build applications from the top charts and the stack, the tools that are used by the top developers out there to build production-grade applications with React Native and Expo. The project is very hands-on, as everything that we do here in notjust.dev. You're going to build 7 different projects. Every project is designed to help you master one specific topic, going from beginner-friendly content and topics all the way into some of the most advanced things like local first architecture, animations with Reanimated. You're even going to build a game during this process. So we already have more than 125 students. They already love it so far. I had the first call with our students this Monday, and you can find more information and enroll at notjust.dev/React Native Mastery. And by the way, during December, while I'm doing daily live streams, if you go to our website, at the top you're gonna see a discount code, and the discount code every day is dropping by 1%. Today is at 18%, and you can use this coupon code to enroll with 18% discount at checkout. So if you were thinking about joining, now is the best time. Don't procrastinate. Go ahead to notjust.dev/React Native Mastery, enroll, and I'm gonna see you during the next group coaching sessions next Monday. All right, thank you very much. And now back to our Notjust hack. Before that, let me say hi to everyone who is joining us live. How are you doing, guys? Let me know how is your progress, because I've been sharing what I'm doing, but I'm really curious to know how is your project going. Do you already have an idea? Let's start with that. All right. And if you didn't see, by the way, yesterday after the stream, I was on the Expo channel. So go find Expo Developers channel. And if you're interested in more content and knowing more about like what I'm doing during this December, go ahead and check this interview out. We talked with Keith, and it was a very nice conversation. So shout out to Expo for inviting me, and thank you very much for this opportunity. And let me quickly give you a intro in the application that I'm building. Here it is. As I said, it's an invoice generator, and my goal for the V1 is to ignore everything else and focus on only one feature and make it workable. And the main feature of an invoice generator is to generate an invoice. And the application already does that. So we can press on new invoice. We can go ahead and start adding things here. We can go ahead and add name for the recipient who we are sending it to. Next, we can add an invoice number. We can change the date, for example. We can go ahead and manage items, add more, or maybe even delete them. After we do next, we have a summary, after which we can go ahead and do generate invoice. This is going to process and render the invoice, and from here we can either share it, it's generated as a PDF from HTML, or we can share it directly with some contacts. And that's the whole flow. Now we go back. These two boxes, I generated them with AI during the Expo live stream. I kind of like them, but we are not ready for that. And if I'm not ready to have something, I'm going to either delete or comment it out, because I don't want to have something non-functional. My goal is to have something working, and what's working is generating invoices, and I'm happy to start the process submitting this application to the App Store. And I encourage you to take the same approach. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of good ideas for the application, but try to distill it down to the most important feature. What is that one feature that without which the application doesn't make sense? In my case, an invoice generator doesn't make sense without being able to generate an invoice, which means that that is the feature that I need to focus on. Ask yourself the same question, see what it is, and try to make that flow functional without adding any extra details. Look, even at the home screen looks very boring, but I'm not gonna add like additional buttons, additional profiles or menus or navigations, because by simply adding them, it will force you to think that your application is not ready, and you're gonna think that you're never going to be ready to finally launch it. That's why keep it super simple for the first version and cover like one use case. It should be functional, but it doesn't have to cover a lot of use cases or a lot of features. It's just one main feature. Then go ahead and start your work publishing the application to the store, because most probably it's going to take you more than you expect. There are a lot of rules around like App Store or Play Store. On Google Play, you need, I think, to test your application in alpha testing for 2 weeks, and you need 20 testers. So that means that go ahead and start this process as soon as possible to manage in time by the end of a month. And if you need testers, go ahead and join our Discord channel and share your link with other people and help each other test your applications. That's the way to go. And yeah, for that, you need to move fast and you need to cut down on fluff that is not important for V1, because first we build something that's working, we put it out there, and only then we're going to come back and improve it. That's exactly what I'm also going to do. I still have a lot of features, which I encourage you to also document them and just look at scrolling through it. Like we see that right out of the gate, like I have things that I could improve, obviously, but these are going to come later once the whole process with the markets are going to be done. All right, so hello. Hello Didar, hello Rogelio. You did great yesterday on Vexpo channel. Thank you very much, Rogelio. How are you doing? What are you building? Are you building anything new or you're working on your startup? Resume not getting selected. What do you mean resume is not getting selected? Please publish the YouTube videos on YouTube later. I don't have time to watch it now. Yes, all our videos are staying on YouTube channel. And by the way, hello everyone who is joining us on Twitter or on X. How would you say that? And if anyone is joining on, how's it called? Stream or Twitch, hello as well. Vladimir is saying, repo created, base components ready, not have export router anymore, designing database schema. Okay, good. Keep it simple, Vladimir, keep it simple. Oh, Vladimir is saying he doesn't hate export router anymore. My last Apple deployment lasted 9 days, so take care, exactly. The Apple deployment also takes a lot of time. New build for sure. Oh, Rogelio, are you participating? That's so nice. Jodov, hello. For local animal shelter, that's so nice. Hello, Ilya. Ilya is building an application to learn language. Awesome. Looking forward to that. I'm also thinking about something in that direction. Maybe it's going to be the next one. We'll see. Following from Brazil. Hello. All right, guys. So what's the plan for today? Let me switch things up a little bit to put it where it usually stays. Maybe like this. And there are a couple of things before I start building, and I put them here in the piping. One of them is analytics. This is quite important. It doesn't take a lot of time. For that, I used Vexo. And the Vexo team gave also a discount, a coupon code for 10% off. So you can use, if I'm not mistaken, it's notjust.dev 10. And that's going to give you some a 10% discount. But Vexo is super simple to set up. It took me yesterday probably 10 minutes to do that. And then it gives you a lot of insights on how your application is being used. And it has like these heat maps to show you where usually people press, which is also super helpful for later debugging like how the application is being used. And it also has this session replace, which is going to record some of the activity that the user is doing. And you're going to be able to review that. Super helpful for us to understand and know like what to implement next. Because without analytics, you're kind of like going blind, like you don't know what's happening actually there. There might be some paths or screens that the user never get to, which you thought are very important. So that's why analytics is important and not very hard to set up. Same goes with Sentry. Sentry. Where is Sentry? Is a way for us to catch and debug issues in production. So by installing and setting up Sentry, we're going to have a dashboard. And if the application crashes on user's device, without a tool like Sentry, there is no way for us to know like what's happening on a user's device. But with a tool like Sentry, we're going to be notified. We're going to know what happens, where it happens, and we're going to be able to fix these issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start setting up Sentry in my application. Let me get the documentation from Expo here. And this as well like is going to help me stay on top of my application and avoid like this kind of, do it like this. Be able to debug if things are going wrong in production. Maybe the PDF generator is going to fail in production, so I need to know like if that's happening. Because on my device it might work, on people's device might not. So let's see the installation. Sign up for a Sentry account and create a project. Let's go ahead on Sentry. Most probably I already have an account because I'm using it for some of my other applications. Give me just 1 second to sign in. Here it is. We see that I have an error in one of my applications. Type error, cannot read date of undefined. That's something that I would never know that it's happening. I don't know why I haven't fixed it yet, but that's another issue. Let's go back to projects, and I'm gonna add one more project. Let's search for Expo. There is no Expo. Then it's going to be React Native. Alert me on high priorities. Okay. More than 10 occurrences of let's do like this. Okay. Notify me via requires template. No, it's okay. Project name Invoice Generator. Let's create the project. And there, let me see if it gives me anything. Yeah. I'm gonna move it on another monitor just because I think it has like some important keys, like private keys. So let me follow the documentation on Expo. Hello, the question is, should I go vanilla React Native or Expo? Go with Expo and you're never gonna regret that. Go with Expo. Even React Native team is recommended going with Expo. Okay, take note of your organization slug. We're gonna take notes of that in a second. Go of tokens and create a new organizational token. Once you have each of these, organizational slug, project name, DSN, and of token, you are set to proceed. I'm gonna go and try to see if I have all of them. Again, I'm going to open some notes. And note down what do I need. I need organizational slug. Where will I find this? Just collecting this information. Organizational slug, I found it. Next one is project name. I think I know it. DSN is available in your project setting. Project name, client keys, DSN project. Settings. Oh, where project name, client keys, DSN tab. Client keys, DSN, I found them. Now all I have to do is go to developer settings. Developer settings. Where is that? Okay, developer settings. I found then of token and create an organization of token. Let's do create new token. The name is Okay, now I think I have all the data, hopefully. And I can go next. So the next one is to install Sentry React Native. Let's go ahead and do that. npx install Sentry React Native in our application. Let's do here clear. Come on, where is my terminal? npx install Sentry React Native. I'm guessing we don't have to build a backend. Can we use a backend as a service? There is no requirement around backend. You can definitely use a backend as a service if your application needs one. If the application doesn't need a backend, you can go without a backend. For example, my Invoice Generator doesn't need a backend yet. Maybe later it's going to need a backend. I don't know. But for now, like I don't need it, so it's good not to have it. I mean, it depends like what application needs. Vladimir is saying, try make a production grade project with CLI and maintain it for 3 years. You'll understand why Expo should be default choice. Yeah, long story short, like developer experience is better with Expo, and it's easier to update projects because with Expo, you have to care a bit less about the native side. And there is no limitations, like anything possible with React Native CLI is possible with Expo as well. Vanilla React Native gives us more control over our code base. That's not true. Like you have the same control over your code base with Expo as well. And sometimes not having control is better, because if you don't have control, it's not your responsibility, and it's better to have less responsibilities. But with Expo, you have control. Like what? Look, I'm using Expo, and I have my iOS folder. I have my Android folder, which is native projects. I have control over them. So I installed Sentry. Let's see configuration. So Sentry can be done through a config plugin. Oh, look, that's a good explanation for everyone. Like now I'm installing Sentry, but Sentry is a native side code. Like it's not handling anything of a Java. I mean, it's not a JavaScript library. It's a native library, which means that Sentry needs access to the native code, has native integration. So the way with Expo, the thing that enables Expo to manage this very nicely is config plugins. So Sentry created a config plugins, meaning like a set of fields that we can configure through the JSON file, and then Sentry will know what changes they have to do on the native side. For example, setting a URL, updating the manifest file, and so on. And then Expo will take and say, hey Sentry, what changes do you need? Like knowing these inputs from the user, do the changes that you need on the native side. And this way, you don't have to go and manually change things on the native side, but using config plugins, you can configure this to be done automatically. And config plugins can either be created by the library maintainers, and in that case, it's way easier. Or if a library maintainer doesn't have a config plugin, you can also create them and specify like how should the native side project be changed for your needs. So let me go ahead and copy this part, like this Sentry configuration, and I'm gonna put it in our app.json under somewhere under plugins. It's here. I'm gonna move the plugins at the bottom. I like to have them at the bottom here. And I'm gonna put this plugin for Sentry. So let's do like this. So this is the config plugin organization. So the Sentry organization slug or use Sentry org environment variable. Maybe I should go through environment variables. Will that work? Sentry org, Sentry project. If you're using a self-hosted instance, update the value of a URL to point towards So for example, self-hosted example. No, I actually don't use. I'll leave URL center like this. But for project and organization, maybe I should go. But I think the project and organization is not sensible information, because probably the key is sensible. So I'm gonna put organization here and project name here. Okay, going back. Next, in the environment where you want to create releases and upload source map to Sentry, you'll need to set Sentry environment variable to use Sentry of token. If you're using AS build, you can set the environment using creating a secret name. Okay, I'm going to check that a bit later. But for now, maybe I'm going to put it in my environment variable. Maybe locally I'm also going to need that. We'll see, we'll see. The Sentry of token should be stored securely. Do not commit into a public repository and treat it as you would with any sensitive API key. Let me double check if I hit it. Yes. Where am I? Update Sentry, where Sentry hooks into Metro to inject debug ID into your source map. This debug ID is used to associate OK. To enable this, you need to add the following to your Metro config. If you don't have a file yet, create it in the root. So Metro config get Sentry. This is what I need to import in the Metro config here. I'll import get Sentry, and I need get default, get Sentry expo config. So no longer get default config, but get Sentry expo config. Okay, and I don't need that one. Initialize Sentry. Add the following to your app's main file, such as app.js. Now wrap the root component of your Sentry. This may I think there is usage with Expo Router. If your app uses Expo Router, then you can configure Sentry to automatically capture example configuration. So I need to import Sentry inside my application layout. Then I need to construct a new integration, Sentry navigation integration. Let's try this way. I'm gonna put this one here to only use Vexo in production, not in development. So construct a new integration instance. This needs to be communicated between the integration and React. Sentry navigation integration is running in Expo. Is running in Expo Go. Let's do that. And now here we do Sentry init. Your DSN here. Debug true. If true, Sentry will try to print out useful debugging information. If something goes wrong with sending the event, set it to false in production. Maybe like this. Debug true if we are in development. Traces sample. Set traces to 1 to capture 100 of trace selection of. Integration, past integration, navigation integration. Enable native frame. Okay. I don't know a lot about this, so let's see. Now, in order for Sentry to also tell us what screen, what navigation screen we were on when an error happened, we need to hook it to our navigation itself. So in the root layout, let's go ahead and capture the navigation container. I think it should be here. Expo router, React Native. And what do we do with it? Nothing, we just call this navigation ref, maybe. Wrap the root layout root component with Sentry wrap to capture gesture info and profiling data. Okay. Now, instead of exporting default here, I will do export default layout, and I'm going to wrap the layout in like this. What do you think? Let me go back to see initialize send. Write the following in your app's main file, such as app debug through a wrap. So this is the only thing that's needed there. Create a new release build for your application. You may want to add a button in your app to test it. Throw new error. Usage with Expo router. Yeah. Let's I'm curious to know like if it's gonna work. I believe now I have to rebuild the application. We need a new release build. I don't know. We're gonna see. Let's try to do npx expo pre-build and try to build it again. Now let's do npx expo run iOS. Jeff Daniel finally caught one. Hello, Jeff. Yusuf is saying Expo is a framework for React Native that makes it easier to use Expo and makes your developer experience easier, and is recommended by Meta. And they have some best-in-class plugins to do some things. Yeah, I agree with that. Well said. What is Expo? Yeah, Expo is a framework to build React Native applications. Okay. So it's installing the pods. Something went wrong. CDN trunk repo update failed. CDN. Let's try this. Or maybe I'm going to try what? npx no. npx pre-build clean. Let's see. If app has a feature that requires persistent audio, reply to this message and let us know how to locate this feature. If app does not have a feature that requires persistent audio, it would. Sorry? Okay, so let me do run iOS. If the app has a feature that requires persistent audio, reply to this message and let us know how to locate this feature. If the app does not have a feature that requires persistent audio, it would be appropriate to remove the audio setting from the UI background modes key. So, as I understand, this is a reply from App Store. Here, Ripon is asking. And the way I understand this is that you have a key UI background modes that says that your application can run in background when playing music. So what they are asking is they couldn't find it manually. So if you actually use background music or audio, explain them how to find this feature in your application. Like go to this screen, press here, press that, play the music, and that's where I use background music. However, if your application has nothing to do with background music, think about where is this background modes key enabled and disable it and build it again and send them another build. So yeah. Look, if you're using Expo and if you're using some kind of library, that means that you might have set it in app.json through config plugins. You might have set something here like background music, background modes. That would go into the keys if you have some Expo audio or stuff like that. But if you need it, if you need this feature, just explain them how to find it. Sorry, I was showing here in the plugins. In the app.json under plugins, it might be like this key value. Why can't you add a separate video for setting up Sentry to the Expo? Please cut it from this video and add it separately. Maybe we're gonna do it, yeah. As you see, like I'm still like figuring things out for the documentation, and maybe I'm going to prepare a better version of it and show it. So let me actually, I'm going to add it somewhere in the notes. Yeah, video ideas. Setup Sentry. Yeah, setup Sentry. This is a translator app and I use it for Whisper API working. But do you need background modes for it? Do you need your application to be able to play audio in background where it is closed? Because I don't think like a translator app needs that. Or maybe it does, I don't know. Vadim, did you ever use Drizzle in React Native? If you did, you are aware of any issues with it. I think I did use Drizzle. I don't remember in what project. It should be somewhere on our channel. Anyone remembers where I did it? Oh, look, Catalina is live. Live Inception. Let's go ahead and spam hello from notjust.dev channel. Wanted to check my channel. And under live, where could I have been used Drizzle? Who knows? Price tracker, no. Meetup, Drizzle. I actually forgot. It was quite not a long time ago. Drizzle. Maybe somewhere here. Oh, here, look, I see it. In the building a scalable API with Node.js. So I use Drizzle on the backend with Node.js. You see? Okay, so Sentry logger navigation taste changed, but navigation transaction was not started dispatching. So what's going on? Let's say here. Sentry is debugging already a lot. Sentry logger, you appear to have multiple versions of a promise package installed. This may cause unexpected behavior, like promise all settled. Okay. Sentry. A handle promise rejection would be caught in Sentry integration installed. I think everything is good here. Native Sentry SDK is disabled. Why? I don't know. User interacting tracing disable. Okay, so now I hope that if I throw an errors or something like this, for example, in the button on new invoice and here throw new error test, and if I reload, come on, I see the data here. If I press new invoice, it does that. And I also believe that it should be show up on Sentry table, or it will wait. No. Actually, it's showing up here. So let me show that as well. So now on Sentry dashboard, I'm gonna see that, hey, I have something. I have release. I have an error, and it says test, as you can see. And I can see where it's happening. It's happening in this function. So it's super helpful to detect this, especially in production, because in production, you don't know what's happening there. And we know information about the iOS device I've been using, where it's from, and so on. Super cool. Super cool. Let me go back here. And I'm going to do git status, git add, git commit, setup Sentry. By the way, guys, this is not required. Like, it's a good practice, but it's not required. So don't, if you get errors integrating Sentry, like during this hackathon, it's okay to go without Sentry. That's another thing that I didn't realize that if I show here Sentry, you're gonna think that this is a must-have, a mandatory, when it's not. Like, it's a good to have thing, and if you don't have it, like, it's perfectly fine. What I also want to do is I'm gonna do expo router catch all. So in expo router, there is a way to export, to do error handling on the route level. We can export an error boundary component from any route to intercept and format component level error during using error boundaries. So if I'm gonna go ahead and export this error boundary from a route or from a layout, for example, if I'm gonna export it from the root layout, that means that this component is going to catch any error that is happening in my application. So let me try that here quickly. And instead of crashing the application, it's going to rather show a nice message. So it's a way catch-all thing. Let me see. Error boundary. Let me try to, for example, in one of the screens, in the index, I'm going to throw that new error test. And I expect to see the text here, but if I dismiss, no. Yeah, now I'm in, how's it called? I'm in development, so I will still see this one. Error boundary. When you export an error boundary, the route will be wrapped with a React error boundary directive. And yeah, I hope that it's going to work in production. We're gonna test this, but how are we gonna test it? I don't know, maybe we're gonna figure out a way to crash the application in production. So hopefully this is going to be enough. What I just want to do is figure out here with, how's it called? With cursor, I'm going to tell him is everything okay with the live stream? Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna say, hey, generate a nice and simple error page that will display the error message. Render it inside the error boundary. Let's see what's going to suggest us. Why in index? No, I need it in layout. No. Change this to follow the up styles. Render nice and simple error message page. Zwelitin is asking about the hackathon. If everyone can join. Yes, anyone can join from anywhere in the world. It's an online hackathon. Everyone are welcome. Here is something went wrong. What if I go ahead and see how this would look like if I would render it here? Error message. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's how it will look like. Retry. Come on. Oops, something went wrong, blah, 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 and try again. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, let me do git status, git add, git commit, catch root error boundary. And why is this important? Because without things like this, if something goes bad in your application, but it will go bad in the application, usually the application will simply crash. When the application crashes, Apple and Google are notified, and applications that are crashing a lot, they perform worse on the market, so they are disincentivized in the market positions. So it's good to have an error-free and crash-free experience in your application. And even though like something is gonna go bad, like instead of crashing, maybe you're gonna show like a nice display. And with Sentry, you're going to actually, I think here in the Sentry now we have to manually report it, right? Error boundary. Do I have error boundary with Sentry? React error boundary. I think I have now to manually do that. Because it's not going to throw it to Sentry, but I don't know. I don't know how to do it properly. Maybe I should do Sentry error boundary. Anyone has experience with this? Because I believe it's not going to work now. So maybe let me go ahead and comment this out for a second. Now at least I'm gonna know like if something bad is happening, and later I could experiment and test with this, because now I'm not sure if it's going to work, because it will catch the error and it will not tell it to Sentry. I believe so. So we either have to commit it to Sentry ourselves. Okay, so now with that being said, I hope our integration with Sentry is done. We're gonna look back to see if there is any issues with that. Now let's go ahead, let me do here, test it. Now it's OTA, and OTA stands for over-the-air updates. We're gonna get to that a bit later, but we can already start building our application using EAS. So using EAS, EAS is a service from Expo. You don't have to use that. You can build yourself, because EAS is the paid service from Expo. I think they have also a free tier, but let me quickly go into EAS docs. But it simplifies a lot the process of building and shipping the application to the market. So let's go ahead. Let's start to update the EAS CLI with npm install -g. Please also implement Bluetooth printer and print. The print, I think you could do that from the share. I think it's even now working for me. I don't know about Bluetooth printing, but the print itself, look, I have to somehow test it somewhere. But if I do here generate invoice and then share invoice, I can press print. I noticed native WinTail WinCSS is not working on OTA. Okay, that's something interesting to test it out. Maybe it needs a bit different configuration. Okay, going back, you can also use a bug function. I think I'm logged in with EAS, and the next step is to configure the project. Let's go ahead and run EAS build configure. Would you like to automatically create EAS project Invoice Generator? Yes. Creating Invoice Generator. What platforms would you like to configure EAS for? I'll actually configure it only for iOS, because I decided to only focus on iOS for this challenge, because it's going to take a lot of time to set up everything on Android. For you, you can go with Android, or if you have time, go for both Android and iOS. Later on, if this application works on iOS, I can always publish it on Android as well. Now my project is ready to build. Let's go ahead and follow the documentation. To learn more about does your app depend on environment variables? We need to add them to your build configuration. Let's check this. Describing how to use environment framework and files to say that can be. Project-wide environment variables are specific to a single EAS project. You can view and manage them by navigating to the environment variable page on your project. These environment variables are available in any jobs that run on EAS servers and the project. Account-wide environments. Visibility, file environments. So I think what we need to do is go to environment variables, not account, but here project wide. We are going to select the Invoice Generator project. And here, when we are on Expo Invoice Generator, after we generated the project, we can go ahead and set here environment variables. Let's go ahead and do add new environment. This is going to be the name, and this is going to be the value. I'm going to hide a little bit my screen, and I'm going to bring two values, one for Vexo API key. Oh, I know why Vexo API key was not working. I forgot. Why nobody reminded me about that? The problem is that Vexo API key should be a Expo public environment variable. Anyway, I'm going to add the sentry of token there. I'm gonna do its production preview and development. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to do expo underscore public for the Vexo, because this one should be public. Vexo API key. And let's also add it here in EAS when building the application. Add it. Okay, now I have them there, and all I have to do is go in my config, and here instead of Vexo API key, I need expo public Vexo API key, because things that need to be accessed in public in the client code needs to be expo public prefixed. Okay, good. Now what do I need to do? Go back here. Is your project inside the mono app or no? Do you use private? No. Does your app depend on a specific version of tool? No. Now we need to run a build. Build for App Store. Before the build process can start for App Store, you'll need to have a store development account and generate or provide app signing credentials. Okay, we need Apple Developer Program membership. After you have confirmed that you have our App Store account design, notjust, you can proceed with the following set of commands to build for the platform. Let's go ahead for the Android. So I'm gonna do EAS build. I'm gonna start building for iOS. production. Do you want to log into Apple account? Yes. And it's automatically, yeah, let me do this pin code. Valid code. Now it linked to with my team. Now it's handling all the certificates for me. Reuse distribution certificate. Yeah, I think I'm going to reuse the distribution. Generate a new Apple provision profile. Yes. I'm just gonna press yes, yes, yes all the way. It's uploaded to EIS, computer project fingerprint, and it's queued to be built. Now if I open up back this one, we see a new build for App Store started. Now it's queued, and after some time it's going to be picked up and it's going to be built. Okie dokie. Let's wait for that to happen. And meanwhile, I think we're gonna have to start setting it up on iOS itself. Spinning up the development build. Okay, perfect. I still haven't set like a lot of important things for my application, like the icon and so on, but we most probably we're gonna have to rebuild it again, so that's good. I just want to do it once. Why can't we add the push notifications after the PDF is generated and show the notification? Why can't we add the push notification? What kind of push notifications? I'm in the React Native Mastery class right now, learning so much, and it's amazing. Thank you, Vadim. Hey, James, thank you very much for saying that. What project are you currently going through? Nice. Thank you very much, James. I need a MacBook Pro. I also need a MacBook Pro. But one way for you to win it is to build and launch an application and compete in the hackathon. PDF is generated like that. Why can't we add the push notification after the PDF is generated and show the notification? I don't understand. Sorry. Quiz watched it first, and now I am going through it learning. So the quiz application is the second project. Nice, amazing. Love it. Okay, so it's installing dependencies. That's going to take some time, like around 5 minutes. Meanwhile, as I said, like probably we're gonna have to start thinking about some marketing stuff like logo and so on. So give me just 1 second. I'm gonna take a small break and we come back to think about like logo and so on. Hello. So, all right, as I was saying, let's go ahead and start preparing a logo, right? What are the requirements for a logo? iOS App Store logo sizing. It's 124 by 124. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open Canva and I'm going to start sketching something. Again, okay, logo, but why? Okay. Here is logo. Let me, what's the sizing? Resize. I need a custom size 124. I mean 1024, 2024. Resize this design. Okay, now I need an app logo. I need anyone can recommend some AI tools to generate the AI logo. I think I was playing with ChatGPT for this for a bit, but yeah, ChatGPT is not the best for generating logos. But it at least gave me some ideas probably. Yeah, something like this. What other tools have you tried for this? I think this concept is kind of nice, I guess. So if I go ahead in the elements and find something like invoice icon, I need something super simple, super minimalistic that looks like an invoice, like this one. And the color that I'm using here is emerald. And I can go ahead and either do the background emerald or this one. So Tailwind CSS. Let me check colors. There is emerald that I'm using, and it's the emerald 500. This one. So if I just go ahead and change the color of this one to this one, that's something. Or we could do the background emerald and this one white. This one also looks not bad. Or we could take emerald 600 and do the background like this. Let me do a duplicate, and I'm going to change this one. I think this is more solid, right? Like a darker color. But there is also this 900, but I think this one is going to be too dark. Kinda looks good as well, but probably this one is going to be more eye-catching. And this one was the 600, right? With 69 at the end. 69. Yeah, I think I like this one. Let's just go with this one. Do I need to change a little bit this color, not to be super duper white? Maybe emerald 50, the color of this one, emerald 50. What do you think? I think it looks kind of good. I'm not sure like if you could see it properly, but if it's FFF, this is white, and this is a little bit of a hue or of a tint of that background. Yeah, I like this one. Okay, let's not overthink it. Looks good. Let's just download it. Let's go PNG. I'm gonna come back like maybe if I will need like with transparent background and so on, I'm going to do that here as well. Now my application is still building. Let me go ahead on App Store and start preparing my submission. Because here deploying the build. If you have made it to this step, congratulations. Depending on which path you choose, you either have a build that's okay, distribute the app to the app. You'll need to be able to submit an app to App Store if you build specifically for that purpose. If you created a build for store, okay. Let me see. I need the EIS. Where is it? EIS build. I need the EIS submit. So configuring with EIS JSON. Introduction. Submit to the Apple App Store. This guide outlines the how to submit your app to App Store from your own computer. Okay, we build it, start the submission. To submit the binary to App Store, by the way, what bundle identifier did it use? Where it's written. Vadin Savin Invoice Generator. Look at this. Our App Store build is finished, right? Yes, it's finished. Well, I'm not very happy with a bundle identifier there, you know? But should we care? Probably not. Probably it doesn't. It's... Or should we try it again because it took not a lot of time? And to build it right away with an icon. And then change the bundle identifier. Let's see. Expo change bundle identifier. I think it's as simple as changing it here. So I'm gonna do dev notjust.invoice generator. And for Android as well. I'm gonna see if that's going to give us any errors. Now I want to set up the icon. So Expo app icon. should I bother about the splash screen at all? This is the splash screen. I'm not gonna bother about splash screen, to be honest. Nope, not now. App icon, create an app icon. To create an app, you can use this Figma template. Provide a bare minimum design for an icon and splash images for iOS. Export the icon as a PNG. After creating an app, export it and save it to assets image. By default, export use icon PNG as a file name. If you decide to use its file name, make sure to use that in the next step. Add the icon. Okay. So this icon here, icon PNG, it's not actually PNG, right? But there is also adaptive icon. Okay. So this one, icon, I already have it. Let me bring it here. Where was it? Here, and I did download, but download PNG. Let's do it. Why failed? There is only one image or graphic on your design. Premium images can be exported on their own. Add more elements and then try again. Oh boy, premium images cannot be exported on their own. Come on, I like this one so much. Check mark, I don't know. How do you like that? And it's gonna be like this. Yeah, let's try it like this now. Hey, now it worked. Look at that. I'm a designer. Oh my god, that's funny. So let's remove this icon PNG, delete, and let's move to trash and do this one icon PNG. Now in app.json, there should be icon. So Android has adaptive icon. For iOS, it's this icon. For Android, I don't care that much. So let's focus on iOS. But on iOS, let me see something. Custom configuration, Android. No, I don't want this one. I need iOS. For iOS, your app's icon should follow the human design. You should use PNG file. If you have an export property, but what was the thing? Expo iOS icons tinted, like in SDK 52 iOS variations. Expo SDK 52. I think there is something regarding icons. Support for iOS tinted icons. With the introduction of tinted icons, it's now possible to provide a version of your icon that works well when tinted by iOS, rather than letting iOS attempt to tint your standard icon. The excellent pull request to learn how to configure tinted icons. Exactly what I'm looking for. Icon. String, one of string or an object, light, dark, and tinted. Perfect. So I can do here icon. I can expand this one to say that this is my icon for light mode, for example. Then this is for dark, and then this is for tinted. Local path or remote URL to an image to use expected string. Why? This is what? app.json. The type is not yet working. The light icon will be when neither dark nor tinted are used. Dark. Tinted will appear. I see Apple's human interface. What's up with tinted? Anyway, let's go on back to Canva. Again, this is not like super important. So if this is going to be my on dark screens, I could do them the other way around, right? Maybe, I don't know. Could do this one like this, and the background is going to be like this. It's too dark. So that means that this one is going to be 400 or even 500. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's see. Should I just try like an actual dark gray here? Something like that. Light, dark. This one should change to what? Dark. And finally, one that is going to be the tinted version. And the tinted version is this one. Use a light up icon. Grayscale image. Most app icons look great with vertical gradient applied uniformly over the icon image. Should it be grayscale? Would it simply be gray here or white? I need to do it grayscale. Do I just provide it like this? Let's see. Let's try it this way. So let's download all of them. 3 pages. And bring them here. Assets. I have icon dark and I have icon tinted. Now in app.json, I just have to specify this is the dark, this is tinted. Perfect. We're gonna see if it is gonna work. Okay. I'm going to try to do npx pre-build, Let's try to pre-build it so that we know that at least the icon is shown here properly before we use EAS. Just center the icon. It wasn't centered? Don't tell me that. I think it is. It is. It's centered. I hope. And let's do npx expo run iOS. And this should rebuild and run it here, and we should have a new icon. But before that's happening, I'm going to grab some water and we continue. Kathleen centered it, and for me it's not centered. Do you mean I need to re-download it? Thank you. Vadim will show us in some of the next projects how to do authorization with Google for the application. Maybe, if it's going to be required by some of my projects, maybe. I should put it under iOS project. iOS icon. Oh, should. Yes. You are very right. I think it's not gonna work. So it's going to come here. Because here it should stay like this as a string. Yeah, because it's only for iOS, this light dark tinted. First one, should I re-download it? Let me do that. Because if I'm going to need to rebuild them again, which most probably I am going to need to rebuild them again. So icon, this is the this one. Icon dark is this one. And icon tinted, it's this one. Ripon is saying UI background modes audio. Yeah, maybe that's the reason. If you don't need them, like, you need to remove them. So today we're gonna do a lot of waiting, like while it's building and so on. My question, like, I think now it's almost finished, and then I will think about like the next steps already. Guys, how do you see the comments on Twitter? Is it only from the phone? Because on my desktop, I don't see any comments. I don't see a comment section. Okay, I see. Hello everyone on Twitter. Now I will see your messages as well, but only from my phone. Look, it worked. For some reason, it worked even there. How do I change to dark? This is dark, so it's not changing. So yeah, I believe it's going to work. I believe it's going to work from here. So I'm not gonna spend more time building it here locally. What I'm going to do is do git status, git add, git commit icons, and let's go ahead and do EAS build iOS. Okay, now I see why you're saying that it was not centered. Okay, now here it's visible. Okay, let's do yes. Trigger a new build. But wait a second, before triggering a new build, don't I want to set up EAS update? Let me go ahead in the EAS. Where is it? EAS update. I don't see it here. Here, EAS update, and set up EAS update. That will allow me to send updates over the air. This is going to help me like debug and push things really fast. Like if I do some additional features, which I hopefully am gonna do like during the next days, I'm going to be able to ship them without having to rebuild and go through the process again. So I think like setting them up now is a good moment in time before we actually deliver it. And if it's going to need like some fixes, we can do it later. So let's go ahead. Get started with EAS update. We have it configured. Configure the update channel. A channel property on a build allows you to point updates to a specific type of builds. For example, it allows you to publish updates to a preview build without impacting the production deployment. If you're using EAS build, we'll set up the update channel. Yeah, if you're using EAS build, EAS will set up a channel. So I need to do this one. Let's try to start doing EAS update configure. These changes to your application. Loaded, exported. What happened here? It installed Expo updates. It configured update URL with my account, runtime version. All builds of your application going to be eligible for updates published with. Okay. Everything happened in the EAS JSON. Okay, submit production. Production channel production preview channel preview. Okay, good. Yeah, I think that was it. I believe that was it. And that is going to allow us to git status, send updates over the air later by sending them to either the channel production or preview. Git add, git commit, set up EAS update. Now, and hopefully it's one of the last times, so I'm gonna do today. Let's go ahead and do EAS build platform iOS. We're gonna initialize a build, a production build for store distribution. What are the chances that we're gonna have the application on test flight by the end of this tutorial, by the end of this live stream? We have around 2 or more hours. Let's see. Come on. Yes. I think this should create like a new project because I changed the, or it will update the previous one. Okay, so the build has been queued. We can go ahead and look on my dashboard. Yes, now we have it here. Deployment production. Okay, we're gonna wait until this one is built. And then we're gonna take it from there. I don't think we can do anything right now specifically to App Store because after building, we're gonna use EAS submit to send this to the store, and we're gonna start from there. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna prepare here this one. Okay, that's also something to know about. Apple review will take a bit more time during December 2026. So, start your submission process as fast as possible. Okay, now we're gonna have a new application there after our build has finished. Okay, what would I like to do now? Maybe I'm going to think about some more to look like for the planning board here to see what we're going to do. Logo we have, screenshots we are going to, we're gonna need some screenshots for the App Store. Let's think about like how we're gonna do that. Let's start by generating some screenshots here. Should we? Yeah, I'm going to take some screenshots. Or maybe I will do that behind the screen because taking a screenshot is not one of the most interesting parts of this. Let me think. We have done that. Screenshots are also going to be here and so on. OTA, hopefully it's going to be done. I want to look into this, save form progress, like while the application is building here. Let's see how much it will take. What I want to, I was talking yesterday during the Expo live stream, someone was asking me, what would happen if you start filling in the form, you add a lot of data, then if you close the application and open it again, do you need to start all over again? And the answer is yes. At this moment, you need to start all over again because even though we are saving the data in the global store, we are not we are not persisting it. So what does that mean? That means that, yeah, like after we close and reopen the application, the data is lost. Okay, but the thing is that first of all, on the home page, we need to check if we have already an invoice in our global store. In that case, the button should be resume invoice or something like that. I don't know. Maybe later it's going to be different, but for now, I'm going to go into the application index and say, hey, give me a new, let's look at the invoice, const equal use store. I'm going to look in my store for the data dot new invoice. Existing new invoice, and I'm going to check it's going to go here. First of all, it's going to be a different button. I don't know where is that button here. So the button is going to say resume invoice. It's very bad naming, like resume invoice, but here it is. Like we already started it and it's resume invoice. If I'm going to reload, it's going to be create a new invoice. If I already started it, it's going to be how is it called? Resume, because if I go back and I go back, I can come here and it's going to be the same data. That's what I wanted here. And on the invoice generate, I think I'm checking if there is no new invoice, only then start a new one. Otherwise, just work with that new invoice that you're working. Good. That's a small thing. But so now in the application, if we go back, there is a way to know when to go back to the previous data that we were working. But now if I will reload the application, the data is going to be lost. Even though this is not like a huge improvement, like you don't need that like that much, like I would think it is a nice to have feature to come back. I will implement this because it might open up the doors to some other things that we can do in a quite easy way. And here I'm talking about persisting Zustand store. So I'm going to go into the Zustand, the global state management library that I'm using in the documentation. And there is the what? Middlewares. There is persist. So persist middleware lets you persist a store state across page reloads and application restarts. So how do we use it? Usage. In this tutorial, we'll create a simple position tracker using vanilla store. Persist, this example trace the position. We start by setting up a vanilla store that holds a position. Guys, this is not very user-friendly. Guides. We have it in the course. We explain it really nicely. Integrations, third party, immer. Well, it's this one, but I don't know why it's so complicated. So let's see. Persist, we're going to import it from Zustand middleware. in our store, just and middleware, and we see that it was used. We have state, we have actions, we have state, well, we don't have actions, but everything is there. And when we call create store, we call this function. That's important, like it's a bit different like how we call it. So create, we call this function. We call the function, we open the brackets, and we put persist, and we call persist around this set and get. Oh, and one more. Persist, set and get. And then we need to close it somewhere. Where? Well, hopefully here. Object is possible null, get subtotal. So now just with that, if I'm going to, let's try to reload. Right operator of in is not an object. Not very good. Persist, 2 arguments but got 1. Okay, there should be something at the end. Yes, at the end there is name position storage. So at the end, before closing this one, I hope it's here. There is name, but probably it's not here. Fuck. So when we open persist, close it here. Name, invoice store. No, you don't want it? So create store, open bracket, create store, call, open bracket, persist, start. Okay, now it works. I don't know. Name invoice store. Let's reload. Let's reload. Let's go create a new invoice. Save ID 123 tax ID next. Now if we go back, we have resume invoice, and if I close the application and open it again, it's new invoice. Oh, didn't work. Persist. I think we also need to specify which local storage it uses, because by default it's going to probably use local storage, which on web it exists, but here no. Custom storage, here it is. Get item, set item, remove item. This is JSON storage. Create JSON storage, search program storage. Zoast and persist async storage. Yeah, I think I need to do that. That's what I'm missing. Get storage, async storage. Here in the configuration. Let's try that and let's import async storage. Well, we don't have async storage. There is a new Expo SDK library that comes to replace async storage, which maybe we can give it a try. Async storage. New Expo SQLite KV store. Key value storage built on top of Expo SQLite to implement the same API as this one. Let's go ahead and learn more. So instead of using the async storage, let's try to use the new library here. This is the first time I'm going to use, but it's a very new one that introduced in V52. So it has the same set item and get item. Where is it? How do you install it? Key value storage. Expo SQLite library provides storage. Oh, it's actually in the Expo SQLite. Okay, so we need to install Expo SQLite. Let's go ahead and do that. That was done, and I can import KV storage. And I will take this storage and give it here. And now cannot find Expo SQLite. Yeah, because I have to rebuild it. Okay, anyway, npx prebuild, npx expo prebuild. And I think my build there is finished, so I'm going to start this local pre-build to get the new library there and expo run iOS. Yeah, I'm trying to use the Expo SQLite as a local storage solution. The their KV store, key value store, that was introduced quite recently, which has the same API as the async storage. So let's see how it works. And maybe even later we're gonna actually use Expo SQLite or Drizzle, I don't know, like, or maybe just simply using the store and that's it. So what did I do? Am I building or running? I'm already running, which means that I can go next and see if my application build finished here in the cloud. No, it's still running. Build in progress. Hello Vexo, how are you doing? So it's the splash screen, yeah. Hopefully it's not long until it's done. Alice is asking, Vadim, are you planning to apply monetization with Revenue Cat or Superwall? I have been researching for a while, and everyone says that the conversion is better when the paywall is put on the onboarding. I didn't decide that yet, but I think you can also combine them together to use both Revenue Cat and and Superwall, because Superwall is mostly around the paywall optimization, like the design and running A/B tests and so on. While Revenue Cat is much more than that. Don't tell me that it's not working. Cannot find module, but I just installed it. Maybe I need to do. Let me see. Maybe I have some extra installation steps for Expo SQLite. Yeah, I think I need the configuration for advanced configuration. But do I need that? At least to add it as a config plugin in app.json, even if I'm gonna change anything, plugins, but it's here, so it should work. Probably I need to pre-build clean. npx expo pre-build clean. Let's try that. mmkv is also the local storage solution. Yes, it's also a local storage solution, alternative to async storage. So Elias, I don't know what I'm going to use. Most probably I'm going to start with Revenue Cat. Maybe I could test Superwall as well. But at the same time, I'm not even sure like at one point I'm going to integrate monetization. Next week, I'm going to have an interview with a person who has a lot of experience monetizing applications. He's doing over 50K a month for a portfolio of multiple applications, multiple small applications. And I'd really love to pick his brain and see how is his process. Because as far as I remember, he said like he's not monetizing it right away. So maybe I'm going to monetize it, but a bit later. Maybe initially I'm going to let it to collect some reviews, add a bit some features, and all at some point. But I will see. Like I really would love to cover and to monetization and to maybe we're gonna come back to some of these applications later. We'll see. Let's take it step by step. I'm going to build it, run it on iOS again. And I'm going to check the build details. The build details finished. It's done. What I can do is I can go back here and say, start the submission process. So in the documentation for EAS submit, let's go ahead and submit to Apple App Store. What's the first step is to I'll do latest. So EAS submit iOS latest. Okay. Invoice Generator has already been used on a different account. If you have a trademark right to this name. Okay, that's interesting. Invoice Generator as a name. So where is it coming? Is it coming from this name? It's taken from there. I need Invoice Generator in the keywords, and I would love them to be at the beginning. but maybe I need like a very short brand name. So where is my ChatGPT? Give me some ideas. How can we do? Because for the purpose of recommend names for this application for App Store. But no, wait a second. The name is actually this one that people see here, Invoice Generator. So this one is not actually that important as far as I know. The name that is going to be visible on the App Store, that's different. So I need to recommend names for this application. The main keyword is Invoice Generator. I think I just need something so something like this, like very small info. So are we talking about this one? And I'm wondering, I think it's not going to take it from locally. I'm going to have to rebuild it. Really? Oh no, creating App Store Connect App Info has already been used. Can I just do some numbers? I don't know, Info 42 or something like that. Not just Invoice Generator. I mean something very small because I want to use the rest of the characters for keywords. Let's do info and a number. And a random number. Suggest me a number. I don't know. Info 24, no. Random number. 101, 500, 365. We are going to try to go with Invo 365. I don't know why. Don't ask me questions. Or maybe it should have a space. or all together? Notjust.dev info. It doesn't need to be related to our brand. Like this is something different. And it worked. Invoice 365, it worked. Let it be. I'm confused. What should I use? MMKV or SQLite for local storage? Use whatever works best for you. They are both achieving the same goals. I haven't done any like performance testing for it. But yeah, SQLite one is baked by SQLite. So, but yeah, I don't know. Both of them, like any of them, if you're using, everything is good. Don't worry. Invoice Dev. How to add OTP before submitting? What do you mean OTP? One-time password or OTA? OTP. Waiting for submission to complete. You can press. Okay. Let's see here what's going on. Overview. App Store submission. And what's going on here? Why you're still complaining that there is no... Oh no, now it works. So on the other hand, I'm testing something here. So if I add some information here and go next, this information is going to be able to resume. But if I close the application and open it again, I have a same resume invoice and I can go and the information is going to be here. Perfect. Amazing. However, if you are in the middle like of the writing and then you close it, it's not gonna save it because we only save it in the store when we press the next button. So that's a bit of disadvantage, but at least like the fields that you already confirmed that they're good, they're saved. So I will do here save progress if application is closed. We can also improve. Should we save progress of the of an unfinished form before we press next? I don't know. I just have it here. Maybe in future I'm gonna look into it, but now it's good. So I have this form saving as well. Resume invoice. But what happens if I want to delete it or something like that? Good question. I don't know. Or you just edit it? All right, so the application is queued to be submitted to the App Store. I'm gonna take a very small break, and I think when I'm here, it's going to be finished submitting. So see you in a second. Hello, and it's not ready yet, right? Okay. Yes, SMS OTP verify without auth to avoid multi-invoice generated by the same client. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it like this. Like that's not the way I think about projects. I'm going to fix that problem only when I have a problem. But in fact, it's not even a problem because it doesn't matter if I generate multiple invoices. It's a local application. I don't have a server. I'm not going to have any charges. Like, why would I do that? Why would I complicate my development flow, the flow of a user, like for a simple invoice generator application? Coding on Windows, can I use EAS to submit to iOS? Yes, exactly. That's another benefit of EAS, is that if you're working on a Windows machine, you can use it to build a development build for your physical iOS device or build and submit to Apple App Store. Yes. But we have here, if I do git status, changed name. The thing that we have done right now to persist our store will allow me to implement some of the new features, some important things. For example, one thing that I don't really like about this is that I always have to add information about the sender. But the sender, like information about yourself, is something that doesn't change often. You just set it once and you can use it for all invoices that you are generating. So I'd like to save this information somewhere else and reuse it for my invoices. So this sender information is going to become a separate page, and by simply persisting it on the device storage, I can reuse it later multiple times. I both love and hate the free tier cure. Yes, that's the free tier. Maybe it's time for me to upgrade. I think I'm going to do that. But speaking about the sender information, what I mean by that is that I can already have a tab like profile where you're going to be able to change the details about yourself. Okay. So in the application, the root layout might become a tabs layout, you know? Or we are going to, I'm thinking like if it's the best place to do it like with tabs, because I'm not going to have a lot of tabs. But I can move things around at any point in time, so it's not that complicated. So let me just start with a layout.tsx here for the tabs. And this is going to be tabs imported from Expo router. Now, the index here that I say create and share invoices is going to probably be the index file in our tabs. And here in this index, I'm going to do export default, not root layout, but index, redirect to /tabs. Will that work? So if I come here and reload, I should be redirected to the tabs. Perfect. In this layout, I have a new stack here. The stack is called tabs, which will have header shown false. It doesn't have a header. Perfect. If I do resume invoice, it's gonna go here. Perfect. Later on, I'm gonna think if I want the pages for creating an invoice to be inside the tab or not. For now, they are not in the tab. But in the tabs, I'll have another page, profile. Export default function profile text. The profile, I'm gonna start it with going in the invoice generate in the index, because that's where we render something like this. I'm gonna put it here like this. Profile screen. If I reload, I have two tabs. And in the profile, I am able to do things. And here is where I'm going to store my information about my business that I can reuse for all the invoices that I generate. But I'm going to stop that for a bit because my iOS store App Store submission has finished. And I'm going to go here to make sure, to at least see if it will work on test flight. And then I'm gonna come back to development. So we see Invo 365. That's good. Let's go ahead. We have some screenshots to prepare, promotional text, description, keywords, and so on. I'm gonna cover that probably tomorrow in the morning. But we have a build. But why that is not here, the build? Your binary has been successful per top, sorry. It's not now being, but you'll receive an email when it finishes. It usually takes about 5 to, okay. So the build is going to be here, it's not yet ready. And that means that I can go to test flight. And here I see version 1.0, build number 3, it's processing. Cool, so in a second, I'm going to be able to start testing. Guys, who here can help me test this application? Let me know and send me your email. I'm going to put them in some notes and I'm going to make sure to invite you. And I'd be very, very happy if you can help me test it. Now it's very simple, but I'm gonna slowly add features. And if you are actually using, if you are generating invoices, maybe you are a freelancer, contractor, and so on, I'd actually be very happy to have your help to test and get feedback for this. Sidaram, I see that you are willing to help. Please send me your email and I'm going to invite you. Missing compliance. This one, I always have to come here and do encryption, but I know that there is a way to set it so that it never happens again. How do I do, how is it called? App encryption. Expo app encryption. The password is app encryption. App encryption. App Store. I know that there is a property you set missing compliance here. iOS config use non-example encryption, false or true for Expo users. Okay. So I can go to app.json in iOS config. iOS config use non-exempt encryption false. Okay, and hopefully next time when I do this, I'm not gonna have to go and manually say this. Okay. iOS Apple users only. Yes, the application is now only for test flight on iOS. Didar, please give me your email. If you can send it here, and Sidaram and everyone else who would like to help me, please send me your email. I'm gonna add you right now. For now, let me actually check here with testers, not to. Let me add my account, and I will invite everyone else who wants to come here. Now I think I'm supposed to receive an email invite. Daniel, very good. I'm doing fine. Please give me your email in maybe WhatsApp, and I'm going to invite you to help me test the application. So I'm trying it myself. Okay, so look what I have here. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see, but I have application on test flight. Yeah, it's not showing. So let me go ahead and install it. What is the meaning of that? The meaning of what? Okay, now I'm opening it and I have it. It's working. What do I need to test? I need to test like if it actually works to generate the invoice. Let me write something. Next. Boom, boom, boom. Tax ID. Invoice number 1. Next. Item. I can delete it. Next. Okay, have a number. I can do generate invoice. Perfect. And I can do share. And I can send it on WhatsApp to, for example, Daniel. Or I can print it. Perfect. Back home, and I'm back home. Nice. Now I would need to test some of the things. I need to look at, for example, Vexo to make sure that the analytics is working. I see that it's working. I have the iPhone here from Spain. This is me. Custom events. Start generating invoice. Also working. Perfect. So Vexo is working. Sentry. I don't know. We'll see if Sentry is going to work. Over the air updates is something that I need to test, right? Because we enabled them, but I would need to test if it's working. So let me check if I can do iPhone mirroring here. iPhone mirroring is not available. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do media player, not media player, QuickTime player. I'm going to do new movie recording. I'm gonna select my iPhone screen here. So here is my device. Now what I want to do is I want to, this is my device and the application that is installed from the store. Oh, actually, let me test the icon. So this is the dark mode icon. If I do this, what? Dark mode. But it's still dark mode. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. But how do you do tinted colors? Oh, dark, light, and tinted. Okay, tinted works. Light, I don't, oh, light also works. Dark, light, nice. Love it. And what I want to do is I want to try to send an over-the-air update. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my application. Okay, look what I'm going to have to do. Git status. I'm going to, it's going to be harder because I've done a lot of changes from that commit. From the moment I've built it. So I already installed like some native dependencies. It's not gonna work. I either have to revert back to that moment and do some small changes. Anyway, I'm gonna test it later. Okay, hopefully it's working. If not, we're gonna cover it tomorrow, like if I'm not gonna be able to do it. Why don't you use Tailwind in your project? I'm using Tailwind in my project. I am. Let's code. Thank you very much for the message. So anyone, I see a lot of people want to test it, but nobody sent me the email. So if you want to test it, please send me the email. I'm gonna add you there. Okay, perfect. So we are done with EAS build. We create an application on App Store. We have it on test flight. Now, and I think I'm gonna handle this behind the scenes. I'm gonna work on metadata for description, screenshots, and so on to start preparing the application. And hopefully by tomorrow, I'm going to already submit it for review. Now let's go ahead and continue a little bit, building a little bit more, because what I want to do is I started working on this profile page where you could set up some information about yourself that could be used for the invoices, right? So where is that? That is in our tabs profile. Inside the store itself, we're gonna have to update it a little bit. Because we have here the invoice has the sender information, but this is not about sender. This is about like my profile, my business information. So profile is going to be a business entity. We have a new data type profile, a new state profile. Here, we're gonna say that, hey, profile initially is going to be null. This is all related to invoice. But before that, let me add some functions for profile. For example, set profile. And then we're gonna get information there and we're gonna set it there. The set profile is going to receive a business entity, information about a business, which has name, address, tax ID, and will give us void. Okay. Now, with this set profile and with this profile, I can go on my profile page, and instead of calling add sender info, I'm going to call set profile, and I'm going to also work with not the new invoice, but with data.profile. So the form default values will come from my profile, if it exists. Profile, profile, profile. On submit, if I go here, we're gonna call set profile. Let me add here a to-do. Though maybe auto save, because now it's going to require us to press the save button. And when I do save, I don't need to push anywhere. Show UI feedback, like success. Now, we have this keyboard avoiding scroll view, but because it's already here, it actually keyboard avoiding scroll view. It has the safe area view, which I'm going to be lazy and I'm going to copy the keyboard avoiding scroll view here, because I don't need the safe area view here in this case. I just need the keyboard avoiding view and the scroll view. Okay, so now it's scrollable. I believe it's also going to work well with buttons and so on. View, scroll view, form provider, my profile. Not the best descriptions. I'm gonna still think about the labels and so on, but what I want to see it working. So I have name, address, tax ID. Button, save. So if now I'm going to say that, hey, my name Jeff, Vadim, address Barcelona, tax ID 123, and I'm gonna save. I hope this information is gonna save, and if I come back, it's here. Cool. And that means that when I go ahead and create invoices, I can simplify the process by getting rid of one page there. I no longer need the sender information. Right? Question. Is there a use case where you need different information, your information to be different on different invoices? Maybe if you're running multiple agencies or multiple companies at the same time. But usually your information kind of never changes on the invoice, because I'm thinking like, should you select here like which sender information you want to work with? But maybe I think that I'm overcomplicating, and maybe I just have to go in the invoices. When generating, we're gonna get rid of the index. We're gonna, I think it's actually, we're going to get rid of the index. In the next one, which is the next one, is the recipient is going to become index, or maybe even the invoice info should be first one, right? Invoice info has like invoice number, date, due date. Let's go invoice info as index. The button will go to generate /recipient. The recipient will go to not invoice info, but to items. And that's it. In the layout of a generate, the index is going to be something like that. And I no longer have a recipient. No. Index became the invoice info. And there is no invoice info anymore, like this. So from index, we go to recipient. From recipient, we go to items. From items, we go to summary. From summary, we go to probably success. Now we're going to have to do some changes on the store as well, because now there is no add sender info anymore. There shouldn't be add sender info. Add sender info. I'm going to remove it. Question. Should the invoice contain the sender here? I think it should, and we just have to copy paste data there. So what I'm going to do is in the store, when we start a new invoice, I'm going to say, hey, the sender is going to have a data from our profile. But it doesn't like it. Why it doesn't like it? Business entity or null. But the sender in the invoice or undefined, but it should be here. Like I could not start an invoice without a profile. So maybe the initial profile should not be null. Maybe it should be empty strings. And in this case, the profile is never going to be null. That also might be the case. Okay, and everything else I think should remain the same because we have the same sender. Let's just double check this. So what I'm going to do is from my profile, I'm going to say Vadim, the address Barcelona, Spain, tax ID 123, save. Now I'm going to sentry, fail to receive any fallback timestamp. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Now I'm going to go and I don't know what to do with this resume invoice. Maybe I need some way to get rid of it. But the first page is invoice number 1. Next. That's not a date. Why you started doing that? I don't like it. From the index here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another button that will say start new invoice. This is always going to be there. No, it's only going to be there if there is already an existing invoice. Because this is going to allow me to ignore what's already there. And what it's going to do, first of all, the button is going to be type, or how is it called? Button variant. It's going to be a link. Start new invoice. Let's do it the other way around. This is going to, this is going to always be there, and I will call on new invoice. The second one is going to be optional and will be resume invoice. Maybe it's a bit confusing, but that's how my brain works right now. So the new invoice will always call this one, will always be there, and there is also going to be resume invoice if there is an existing invoice. Is going to be resume invoice, and we'll call on resume invoice. On resume invoice, it's going to do that. On new invoice is going to do that, but it will check if existing invoice, if there is an existing invoice, I want to get rid of it. Or should I just simply call generate a new one or start a new one, and that will investor. What does start a new one mean? Investor. Start new invoice. We're gonna set it to everything there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Start new invoice. I'm gonna call it no matter what. If we press on new invoice, we start a new invoice. We log it and we go there. If we press on resume, we simply go there because we assume that there is already an invoice. Now, if I'm gonna press on resume invoice, it's gonna go to the existing one. If I go new invoice, I can go this, next, good, recipient, Daniel, address, ABC, tax ID 123, next. Each child in a list should have a unique key. Where is this one coming from? From items TSX. Items TSX. Components. Form provider. It's in the items. Here I need the key. Yeah, I moved something around. The key is this one. Perfect. Now I can do next. I have an invoice, I have a sender information, as you can see, even though I didn't do anything. And I can press generate invoice. And it's going to have the same information for my sender information. Sender, bill to Daniil by Vadim. Yes, good. So long story short, what I've done so far is I'm saving information about my profile here and reusing it, making it way easier to generate a new invoice because you have like one less thing to do there. Okay. So info about you. The logo is not done yet, but the info about you is there. Ask this info during onboarding. So another thing that I need to do, like when you just launch the application, I think I need to get this information first and then let you use the application. Because if you don't have anything initially, you're going to have missing data on the invoice and it's going to be a bit harder to know what to do. Yeah, Katalin is reminding everyone, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Usually we do a lot of tutorials. If you're new here, this time I'm documenting my journey of building this application, so I might move a bit faster. But if you're learning React Native, you can find a lot of good tutorials for any level, even if you're a beginner or if you have experience and want to advance as a developer. Check out our tutorials on the channel. Okie dokie. What I'm going to do before I commit is I'm gonna adjust a bit these tabs. So in the tabs layout here, let's go ahead and expand them and say for tabs.screen with the name index, let's do options, options, title, invoices. And why is it called home? Let's do it like this. Invoices. And the other one is going to be called profile. Or my data or something like this. Now I need some icons, right? So for the icon, I'm going to go into Expo Vector Icons. And I'm gonna find something like a profile. This is actually invoice, good for invoice. Invoice. This one. Let's try this one. So for invoices, we have tab bar icon. Autocomplete helped me there. And here, tab bar icon. And why it's not helping me now? Okay, invoices is good, but this one, profile. user. But is there a better name for this profile? My business, my data, settings. What's the font awesome 5 user? User. Oh, we're gonna use user astronaut. I don't know why, but it looks nice. And let's go ahead and hide the titles here. Tabs, screen options, no header shown, false. I just want tab bar label. Show, how's it called? Let's see. Hide tab bar label. Tab bar show label, accept. We also need some tab bar style. I don't need background color transparent, but I need padding top 10. And let's also do tint color, I think it's called. Tab bar active tint color. If I do red, is it going to change? Yes. So I want to do this. Where is it? Tailwind colors. Let's do emerald 600. Let's see how that is going to look. 600. Or should we go emerald 900? Or do we go with a background color like this? And this is going to be white. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. I'm not a designer. I was thinking about this one because this one kind of looks good. So let me do what to do. Let me try to find the color that it was used here. And I remember I was doing that with V0. Maybe it's going to look good. I don't know. But now it's bad. Like now it's very bad. I agree. Let me just check something. Experimenting. Is this going to be accurate? If I just pick the color from here. And for the other colors, where is it? It was probably Invoice Emerald up. And if I look at the previous versions, where are we? Version 6. In the code, there should be what? There should be the sidebar. And the sidebar has Emerald 900 for what? For background. And it's the one that we selected here, the same as here. Emerald what? 900. I don't see that it's the same. But this is A. No, this is A. Sidebar. Background 800. So is the 800 Emerald? No, it's also not the same. Good. Sidebar link. Span text. Text wide. Oh no, if it's active it's white, otherwise Emerald 100. So Emerald 100 is this one, and this one would be for inactive tint color. So tab bar inactive tint color, inactive tint color. It should be something like this. Let's see. Active, inactive. Bad or super bad? What do you say? I think it's very bad. Oh, you don't see the tabs. Sorry. Do you see them now? Oh, but... Why am I spending time on this? Someone tell me. It's not very clear which one is selected or not. Okay, so maybe I just do active. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this because it's not. Yeah, that one is not enough difference to tell that. Yeah, sure. Now I think it's good. Like, let's not overthink it. These kind of small things. Says Vadim after spending like what? 20 minutes figuring out some colors on the tab bars. Where is the size coming from? Maybe it can be 22, 4, 30. Now let's leave it as it was. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and do git status, git add, git commit profile tab, git push origin main. Okay, perfect. Maybe the first one doesn't even need a header shown false. Yeah, that's good. New invoice, perfect. There would be like a good next feature. To do auto increment invoice numbers. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm taking a very short break and we come back to continue building. Hello. Okay. What's my plan? We have around 1 more hour. I think a must-have thing is to ask the information during the onboarding. Ask information about your business during onboarding. So then when you get into the actually generating your first invoice, we're already gonna know like information about yourself. So let's think about how that is going to happen. I think that is going to be a separate part of application. So let's do here onboarding. And the onboarding is going to be, I think, its own stack navigator, because maybe later we're going to have multiple onboarding screens. TSX. Let's have index.tsx. Maybe the AI can help us with generate of the welcome screen for the onboarding flow that would welcome the new users. Yeah, let's see what it does like this. Welcome to Invoice Generator. Create and share professional invoice, and let's get started by setting up your business profile. Get started is onboarding profile. Yes, that's what I want. Now I will have onboarding profile. So profile.tsx. And that is going to be basically the same as my tabs profile, right? Because they have the same form as here. And I'm thinking like, should it be actually the same page? Or do I want to duplicate it? Because maybe later in profile, I'm going to have like extra things. So initially I can simplify the onboarding, and later on I can have additional stuff there. So yeah, let's probably take everything from here and duplicate it into onboarding profile. And I believe that here it's not going to be in a tab navigator, so I can easily remove everything from here and put it back into a keyboard. How did I call it? My custom keyboard avoiding scroll view. And on submit, set profile data, maybe something else. And I'm also going to do router dot reset something like that. Now, how do we know if we need to go on the onboarding or not? I think that is going to happen maybe in the store. We're going to initialize the profile with null, and we're going to say if there is profile is null, that means that the user is not onboarded yet. And that's when we're going to set it. So, or we could have an extra value there onboarded and to update it. Onboarded completed. Let's try it with this approach. Onboarding completed is going to be false, and set onboarding completed is going to make it true. Now, in our probably index, when we get on the whole, we're going to take onboarding completed from the store. If onboarding is not completed, we're going to redirect to onboarding, otherwise to the tabs. Yep. Now, in the onboarding profile, replace. So set profile and also set onboarding completed, which we should do here. That means that if I reload the application now, I'm getting to the onboarding screens. I'm going to the onboarding screens, and in the onboarding screens, let's go ahead and say export default onboarding layout as a stack, screen options, header shown false. Onboarding index. I think it's coming from this layout, right? Screens must be unique. Yeah. Oh, I have tabs here. Header shown false. Onboarding. And this layout has a stack. Export default. Oh, underscore layout. That's my bad. Now, Welcome to Invoice Generated. Get started. Boom, we have it there. Perfect. In the where? Onboarding profile. I think this keyboard avoiding scroll view, the edges should be, we should be able to pass them through props. Accept edges through props and send them down to safe area view. Because in some cases I need all of them. So let's do like this. But you didn't finish the implementation. Implement it. Edges bottom and here. Well, yeah, again, it didn't finish the implementation. Don't know what's happening there. But here we're gonna say edges like this. And I can go into my onboarding profile and I can say edges bottom and top. There is that flickering, which I need to tackle. Flickering, just remind me. Get started. Profile. Now it has nice top and bottom thing. I can set my first name and so on. Oh, this jump is crazy. Oh boy, this jump. It's coming from the keyboard avoiding scroll view. Because keyboard vertical offset here is 97. I could fix it by only hiding the header on the index, which I didn't really want to, but this is going to be a shortcut for me. Name index. Let's there do this header shown option. But on the profile, let's do title setup, profile setup. And this is profile. So if I go here, get started, profile setup, and I can go back to index. Header back. Header back button menu enabled. Header back visible false. I don't want to show that. Get started, profile setup. Okay, good. Now in profile here, I don't need to change anything here. It's gonna be good like this. And I can do save, or what's going to be the button in the onboarding. Yeah, save. Now we are back on the index, and the index redirects us to the invoice generator. And if I reload, I come back here. Okay, that's good, but I don't like that index flickering, right? And it happens because we do this use store, right? Because if I wouldn't have it, but even if I don't have it, it's there. Let me remember how to do it better. Maybe the root here. One way would be, yeah, not very good, but the index to have header shown false. Or maybe all of them will have like here, screen options, header shown false. And in that case, like I don't think we actually need anything here. Get start. What? Why am back on the welcome? Welcome to Invoice Generator. Save. And I'm here. And if I reload, why I'm back here? Oh yeah, because in the index. What just happened? Sentry, first of all, sentry. Let's do for a second false here because it's too much. Onboarding complete, false. Save. Onboarding complete, true. And if I reload, onboarding complete, false. Zustand, persist, wait. I need to wait for the persistence to before I do anything else. On rehydrate storage. When the storage is hydrated on rehydrate storage, state error. Migrate. Has hydrated. This is a non-reactive getter to check if the storage has been hydrated. Use bone store persist has hydrated. This listener will be called, so I need to wait until the hydration happens and only then start using the application. critical when the storage is hydrated. Unhydrated storage. Let's try this thing. Where? Let's try it in application, in the root layout. Let's try it here in a use effect. Nope. I'm going to do it like this. Use store. On hydration complete false. But where am I showing this? And hydration finished, and it has a state. But when the hydration finished, like I could have here, I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly, but let me try. Const hydration finished false, and when it finished I can do true, and while it's not true, return, I don't know, activity indicator, for example. And now we are not going to render anything in our application unless the hydration happens. And now we are not redirected there anymore because we wait for the data to load and only then we redirect. Good. But still, I'm not sure like how to properly fix this navigation away. Maybe animation, it shouldn't be simple push, but should be fade. I think that's a bit better, the fade. New invoice. But for the new invoice, no, I don't like it. And for the onboarding, I want fade. But the rest, like it should be the default. So this one is fade, new invoice, it's like that. And I'm trying to figure out like, okay, let me try to do something. In the store, let me manually do onboarding complete false for a second. And I'm gonna go here and do save. Now I'm gonna remove this one. And hopefully if I reload, I'm gonna get on the welcome screen because the onboarding is not complete. And I'd also do this with a nice fade. So it's a bit better than like that push and so on. Now I can do get started. Initially here, there are not gonna be anything. I can do name, address, tax ID, save, and we are boom to the invoice generator. From here, I can do a new invoice. I can do next. If I do a number, recipient, okay, add, generate invoice, boom, back home. And the back home is also like this. Okay, it's good. Let me go ahead and do a git status, git add, git commit, onboarding. Onboarding is finished, so I'm asking information during the onboarding process. Perfect, perfect, perfect. What else I can do here, which wouldn't be like too complicated? Now that I'm storing and persisting the data of our store, I could probably easily have a history of invoices. I'm not sure if I want to get into that, but it wouldn't be complicated. Really, like it would be quite easy to do that. It's probably more complicated about like the design and so on, but it would add value, like it would show you the past invoices. So yeah, I'm not sure. So new invoice, the invoice number. Invoice number. Can I do anything about it? Like if I would store the history of invoices, I could look at the last invoice that was generated. I could take its number and store it somehow here and increment it automatically. Recipients, I could also store like contacts, super, not very hard. Okay, I need a bit of oxygen, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna breathe some air, and then we continue. I come back and we continue. Why is Twitter saying that it's 9:41? I don't know. So give me 1 second. I come back and we continue. Hello. So, Kadik is saying, hey, came here from the Expo channel. I have a question that bothers me more than coding. How do you deal with legal stuff, privacy policy and terms and conditions and so on when publishing an application? I'm not a legal expert, but for my application, I usually use like AI tools to generate the privacy policy and so on. For simple things like Invoice Generator, that is a local application, like it shouldn't be like that complicated. So yeah. There are also tools that I've been using in the past for generating privacy policy. Like I don't remember from the top of my head their name, but privacy policy generator. What was the name? This one, I believe it was this one, privacypolicies.com. And you can go application, next. Let's do Invo. How did we call it? I don't even remember. Invo 365. I'm an individual from Spain. Next step. What kind of personal information do you collect from users? I'm not collecting actually anything, but no, I'm collecting, but I'm not. It's on their phone, like I don't get it on my server, or I don't have access to it. Phone number, no. Address. Maybe in future email address I'm gonna select. Camera, no. How can user contact you for any questions regarding privacy? By visiting a page. Oh no, let's do here. You have to upgrade the professional one to follow the GDPR rules. And I'm going to let's generate it. Give me 1 second. So right now, link to your privacy policy. I can copy it. And it's going to always be here. Okay, so now what I can do is I can go back to App Store. Where is App Store? I'm actually going to use this one. Let me put here some other things. Links. Table. Privacy policy. So let me go ahead on App Store and add it for my newly created application. App information. There should be where is it? Here, privacy policy. Do you or third party collect data from this application? Because I'm using analytics, I think I need to do yes. So let me just double check that with Vexo Docs, because we have here publishing. When using, there are some items that must be checked. Do you, yes, we need to do yes here. Next. in the next page, we do product interaction analytics. Let me see if I need to disclose what I'm collecting, name and so on, because I'm not sending it over anything. Like the data is not used for tracking purposes. No. The data is not used for third-party advertising. No. Collection of data occurs only in infrequent cases that are part of your app's primary and which are optional for the user. Actually, not true. So it must be disclosed, I think. So we're collecting the name. At the moment, we're not collecting email address, but maybe I'm going to select this one. Physical address. Health, nothing. Financial, nothing. Location, nothing. Nothing. User content, email, photos, audio, nope. Browser searching, no. User ID. Do I need anything for Vexo? I think no. Product interaction start app launches. I think we're doing this for analytics and for SAN3. Crash data we're collecting. Performance, I think so. And that's it. Let's go next. And I think we're gonna have to go for all of them and provide more information. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to add the privacy policy here. Save. And for all of them, like contact information, I have to go here and say, why do I use it? So for the name, that is product app functionalities, because I need the name to generate the invoice. Are names collecting for this app linked to user's identity? No, because I don't even have like track user identity, right? Via their account, device, or details. I don't actually track this, so maybe later I'm going to do that, but no. Do you partner use names for tracking purposes? No. And so on, I have to go and do for all of them. For example, for usage data, is it for usage? To select product interaction and usage data. So this is needed for analytics, the usage data. No, it's not. Vexo said it's not. No. Crash data. Is this for analytics or for no? For no. Developers, no. Analytics, product personalization, app functionalities. Minimize app crashes. Maybe because it is like crash data analytics or app functionality. No. And so on and so forth for the rest, like I'm going to do right now. You have to be like very careful with this, because if it doesn't match with the physical address I'm using for app functionality. At the moment, I'm not linking them, because if it doesn't match like the reality, like Apple can get your application down. App functionalities. But I'm not even collecting the email addresses yet. So all of them are finished. Publish. Okay. All right, guys. So I don't think you're collecting it until you send it to the server. That's a good point. I don't know. Like, I'm still collecting it, but yeah, I don't send it anywhere. It's all on the user's device at the moment. Maybe later it's going to allow us to store it in the cloud, but yeah, maybe now it's not. How to send push notification data? That's a long question. Cannot answer it so easily like here, especially after 4 hours of streams. Okay, better be safe. Apple will tell you if you got it wrong anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like they will not tell anything like, but I don't have to do that. Like, it's better to display more, to disclose more than less, indeed. So I think that I'm going to initialize a new build. Right? Is anyone having issues when linking devices to iOS? I keep getting an error when linking devices, even when I clear cache. Could not update simulator, linking permission, no such file or directory. Oh, I don't know. Didn't encounter it. Okay, guys, so my next step is going to be to go ahead and create a new build here. By the way, if you would like to help me test this application, please send me your email and I'm going to invite you. Would really love your help testing the application. Now it's simple, but as we move, like, we're gonna add additional features. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna work as much as possible on some marketing stuff like screenshots, details, and so on, and hopefully even press like, because the technical part here on App Store is ready. Like, I just need to go ahead and for app information, add title, name, subtitle, and so on, fill in all the information here, and then yeah, all the information here. And then prepare the application for submission, maybe even start the submission. But we are not stopping here because we still have 2 more days. So as we are waiting for the app to be reviewed, we are going to continue adding features here, making sure that we are improving it. Let me just check one thing. Invoice number, okay. Here, price. Okay, price is good. Quantity, good. I was thinking like, what is the keyboard type, but it's correct. Yeah, so yeah, so As I said, I'm gonna prepare this for submission, and while this is happening, tomorrow we continue by adding new features. I have a lot of ideas here. Maybe I'm going to look into this auto increment. This is quite important for making it easier to use the application. Data validation is kind of dull. Like, I'm not even sure like why I have it there. I would also love to look into, I have company logo on the invoice, so I don't need it twice. I don't think logo on the invoice is very important, but invoice history, I think that's not hard to implement. And we could do that easily with the things that we have right now. Just a new property in our global store for the history of invoices that we add data there. And because we are persisting it, like, it's going to work out of the box, hopefully. And it's going to allow you to see like past invoices. Maybe go ahead and also update like their status, like to track if they've been paid or not. But that, like, it's technically it's not very hard. Maybe it's going to be the next one. Saving and managing contacts, also something easy to implement, but will help you generate easier invoices, not to have to write the data again and again and again. Because one of the hardest part about creating an invoice is that it's a manual process that you have to input a lot of data. But if you have contacts and can easily edit their information and say, like, if you're working with repeating customers, like saving their contact is very nice. So maybe this one could be some of the next features. Invoice over email, not yet. It can be easily done that through share. Print, I think it's possible right now. Like, maybe I just need like a separate button, like print. I don't know. Stripe integration, no. Units, no. Due date, this is not sure if it adds a lot of value. Should we save progress for an unfinished form before we press next? Yes. Oh, no. That's not done. Privacy policy is done. Multi-currency is also probably important. It's one of the settings of a user. Okay. Nice. All right. So that is the plan. Default currency maybe should be part of a profile page. Yeah, I think the profile page should have a setting for the default currency. Awesome. So that was the third day of our hackathon, of our marathon of building applications daily during this December. And just an update, guys, this is part of the Not Just Hack. So if you want to challenge yourself and build applications together with me or on your own, you can join the Not Just Hack, which is a 1 month long online hackathon for mobile developers happening during this December. All you have to do is build an application, launch it to the market, submit the entry by December 31st, and you have a chance to win some of these prizes. Or more information on notjust.dev, and also there, make sure to sign up to receive important updates and information about it. During this process, as you see, I'm challenging myself personally to build 4 applications in 4 weeks. You don't have to do that, you just have to build one. And I'm sharing my journey daily in these streams. If you enjoyed this one and you want to follow me along further, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That helps us a lot. And don't forget, we just recently launched React Native Mastery, which is the most up-to-date and the best React Native and Expo course out there. Go ahead at notjust.dev/React Native Mastery, or you can find the links in the description below and enroll now because during this December we have discounts every single day, and take advantage of it. All right, thank you very much for joining. That was it for today. Join me tomorrow. We are going to continue working on the application, building more features, learning more, and having fun. Good luck with your project, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys.